Now we come to the next part, the results. We are not talking again about going in detail about the result analysis and all those methods. We are not talking, but just roughly we say that the results should be organized in a logical manner. Normally, the first part of the result is about the patient demography, how many patients you include, it's a first table. It's about the demography, the age, the gender, and socioeconomical status, and so on. So the demography is normally the first table, and you can use tables, plot, pie charts. See how well you present your results. That's very crucial. Sometimes the students make all the results in one big table. No, your result is not good. The result also should have a storyline. You first, the subsection in the result, demography of the respondents, then you to back pain score, then association between demography and back pain score. You got it? So you have to organize the results in subheading and in a very logical manner, very sequential manner, and you need to explain, you need to interpret some of the findings that are there in your results. You say that most common cause for back pain is taking weight on the shoulder, but more details are available in figure 2. You got it? So how attractive, how clear, how well you present your result is very important. Maybe you can go into any of the published articles and you will see that how the authors have presented their results. It should be nice. And also, if you have performed any statistical significance in the results, you must mention the statistical significances, like for example the p-value may be statistical significant. There are multiple ways you can put it under the table and so on. And at this point of time, the student should learn how to use the Excel program and SPSS program, how to make tables, how to make plots, pie charts. Normally students put only tables and plots. Maybe no, that's not correct. So you can put histograms, pie charts, scatter pie diagram. There are many ways by which you can put your results in a nice way, appropriate way. And please remember, the results is an important part of your manuscript. What did you obtain? What is your finding? Anyone would like to go through the important finding in your results, because for these results only you conceptualized and you did a research. So it has to be nicely presented, and there should not be any duplication. Sometimes some students put the results in a table and the same result they put again in a pie chart, or the same thing again they write another paragraph. No, it should not be a repetition in the results. So it should be organized nicely. I'm sure when you go into any of the published journal articles, you will be able to see how well the result is being presented in the manuscript. Now discussion, the students find normally difficult with the discussion. What sometimes students do, they go and see how the discussion is being done from other journals and so on, and they try to copy the discussion and so on, but you land up in a big mess. Let us not do that. I give you a very important approach, very important and a very simple approach that can be used for you in making the discussion. Let us see that. All of you, please listen carefully, especially for the students. So I did my research. I have results. From the results, I identify 8 or 10 important observations. Okay, my research, I found women to have more back pain. Okay, my first observation. I found diclofenac is not as effective as that of physiotherapy technique. Number 2, you see, like that, I have some 8 or 10 observation. Now I take my first observation and I compare with the existing literature, and I see whether my finding is same like others or different, and then based on my understanding, I interpret. That is for the first observation. I repeat again, I have many observations. I take my first observation, mention it, and then compare with other findings, other studies. There is my study in Chennai found back pain to be common in women, in female. But another study done in North India found that back pain is not common in women, maybe like that, So take 2 or 3 references from other similar studies. If it is in the same place, same country, if not, go to the other countries and compare your finding with others and see that whether this finding is similar to other finding or not. If it is same or different, then you look for reasons why it could be same or different. That finishes your discussion for the first part. First observation. That's the first paragraph. Then the second part, you can bring the second observation, make your discussion. Third observation, make your discussion. Normally, discussion is a place where students are stuck with, you do the results after the discussion, you read, you don't understand how to interpret your finding and how to compare with other studies, and you are stuck with it. So this is a place, discussion is a place where I'm sure you need the help of an expert who has already published articles in the journals. Okay, so let us quickly go through it. Discussion, you list the major finding, compare your finding with other similar studies, see whether your observation are the same observation like others or there is differences, then interpret based on your understanding and the literature. And usually the discussion ends, the last part, last one paragraph of the discussion is the strength and limitation. Some journal says that the strength and limitation of the study you put in discussion, and some study says that strength and limitation can be in the separate part in the manuscript after discussion. So whatsoever it is, this is how you make the discussion. This, as I already mentioned, this is little difficult for the students to do that, but like with the help of your mentors, your guides, your faculty members, your other colleagues who already has got publication, you can do that. Maybe I would also request you after this webinar that you all will go and see at least 1 or 2 articles and see that how the discussion is being done in those articles and how do they follow. Different authors follow different styles in making the discussion, but this can be one of the easiest approach. Maybe the students can consider following it. So you put your observation, compare with other studies, maybe 2 or 3 studies, and say that your observation is same like other studies or not, whether it's same or different, what is your interpretation, what could be the reason for that, and that's in 1 paragraph. So if you have got 8 or 10 important observation, maybe your study has got only 7, 8 observation. Okay, make discussion for 7, 8 observations. Or sometimes you have got 25 important observation. You need not discuss all. In that 25, you look which is the most important observation. That observation you can discuss it. So this is about the discussion, an important point, and normally students find it difficult in writing the discussion. And limitation, as I already mentioned, that some journals would like the limitation to be within the discussion, whereas some journal says that the limitation should be separate. So list all the important limitation. Now the limitation, what should be there in the limitation? Very simple. There's a simple formula how to write the limitation. What was decided by you and what was minus what was done gives you what was not done. That is the limitation. I put it in a simple language. We thought of doing a research by 450 people, but when we start the data collection after 350, this coronavirus pandemic came. So instead of 450, we could do only 350. So we couldn't achieve the full sample. This became one limitation. You got my point? This became one limitation. Or maybe in my study, I had 100 people, which I'm supposed to follow up for 6 months, but after this 100, only 75 follow the 6 months follow-up. Rest 25 dropped in. Maybe some patient did not come to my hospital. They went to another hospital. Or maybe some patient had an accident. They did not come. Or some patient went for surgery. So they did not have back pain at all after that. So they did not come for follow-up. So you see, limitation means you should not write something beyond the scope as a limitation. No. What you thought in your methodology, in that what you are unable to achieve, only that become limitation. You cannot say that, you say, our study is on back pain, compare diclofenac sodium with another physiotherapy technique, and you cannot say that, okay, this was not compared with other medicine and so on, because that was not part of your study. What is part of your study, what you thought of doing, and you fail to complete that, fail to achieve that, only those things you have to mention limitation. Sometimes students feel that if I write more and more of limitations, people think that okay, then my study is very weak because it has a lot of limitation. No, people never think that. People think that you are intelligent enough to identify your problem. You got my point? If a person can identify the limitation in his own research, that means he is an intelligent person. So he has done a good research. He's so good that he's able to identify the problem in his research. He's able to identify the limitation in your research. So please make important note. Don't forget to mention all the limitations in your research. Okay, so this is a simple formula. Maybe you can use it to understand what exactly the meaning of or the purpose behind writing.